The setting, the Madhouse on Madison. The usual sellout crowd at the United Center as we close in on Game 5 of this best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series. The Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls in what has now become a best-of-3. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Steve Kerr. Will be joined in a moment by David Aldridge. And off that loss by the Bulls in Atlanta Sunday night, Steve, what does Chicago have to do to turn things back their way?
Well, Marv, the first thing is they have to get back to who they are, which is a defensive rebounding team. They allowed 56 points in the paint to Atlanta in Game 4. When the Bulls do play defense, Marv, they can get out in transition, and that's when Derrick Rose is at his best. He had a very difficult time scoring the other night. Took him a lot of shots to get his points. And for the Hawks, Marv, a fast start is imperative. This is a team that is trying to build something. They've got some momentum. Can they carry it over from Game 4?
Let's check out the starting lineups. Once again, the Hawks go with that big front line. Josh Smith and Al Horford coming off strong efforts in Game 4. Jason Collins will start once again. Joe Johnson with a bounce back Sunday night. And Jeff Teague has done an excellent job playing for the injured Kirk Hinrich. For the Bulls, Carlos Boozer had his best game of the series Sunday in Atlanta. The Bulls need more offensively from Luol Deng and Joakim Noah. Derrick Rose vows to make up for that 12 for 32 shooting in Game 4. He said he had good looks, missed too many layups. Head coach Tom Thibodeau telling us, well, he doesn't take issue with the volume of shots that he saw the other night.
I had no problem with the shots he was taking. I mean, he was really getting no help from his teammates. They were 3 for 16 from the three-point line in Game 4, Marv. So he's got to attack. I think the credit has to go to the Atlanta defense. They were aggressive. They helped. They built walls in front of Rose, and they did a nice job of staying in front of him.
Steve Javie, Bill Kennedy, Tom Washington are the officials. Chicago controlling the opening tip. This is Keith Bogans coming back from that sprained ankle. Boozer played by Collins. And Deng in the collision with Smith. It's called an offensive foul. A charge picked up by Deng.
Well, and if you're Larry Drew, you love the fact that Josh Smith took a charge on the first play. I mean, everything from Atlanta the last couple of days has been, wow, Josh Smith played with so much energy. We'll see if that can continue. He's been inconsistent throughout the year, but his energy, his focus, so key to this team.
Head coach Larry Drew wanted his team to come out aggressively the other night, particularly against Derrick Rose, and they did as Bogans picks up the foul.
Well, this is a good sign because taking a charge requires anticipation, and you have to be prepared for what's coming. You got to get in position, and Smith doing a nice job staying in front of Deng there.
Game 4, the Hawks moving the ball so effectively, played smart down the stretch with a 16-4 run. Bogans with the steal. Deng with room. Yes. He had a foot on the line. It's two-pointer. Got off to the good start the other night, hitting his first couple of shots, but then was very quiet.
Well, he's so key for this club. You know, in the regular season, averaged over 17 points per game, so he really was the Bulls' second option. But when he doesn't score well, puts a lot of pressure on Rose.
Nice move by Smith, could not finish. Rose looked like he wanted to fire a three, but Teague able to close out. Boozer. And the rebound comes to Smith. Tom Thibodeau saying that he felt that Boozer had the lively legs the other day as Teague is able to tie things up. And Boozer with a good performance, 7 of 10, 18 points, playing through that turf toe injury.
Yeah, looked a lot better physically, and he started to make that mid-range shot, which is the key to his offensive game.
Good job by Teague on Rose. Here's the backdoor pass. Deng had to reach for it. He scores on the foul. Luol Deng able to twist his way despite the double team.
Well, if the Bulls want to do something besides go to Rose, this is a great option. Joakim Noah, a terrific passer from that elbow area. And I think they can run a little offense through him to take some of the pressure off their all-star point guard. But that was just a great backdoor feed and a good catch from Luol Deng.
Foul committed by Collins, so Dang looking for the three-point play. Talking with Tom Thibodeau earlier. He was discussing the loss in Atlanta. He said, you know, you can't ease into a game. That's what we did. At the start, our defense was poor, and the Hawks certainly fought harder at the end, referring to that 16-4 stretch, the final minute. Here's Teague launching. That's a three-point attempt, rebounded by Boozer.
Well, Mark, the team that has won the first quarter has won all 4 of the games in this series. And that's not to say that that's going to happen every game, but it is indicative of which team has been more aggressive.
And you see the aggressive play there. Smith called for the foul. First they try to trap along the baseline, and then Smith picks up the foul.
And here's what we're talking about. And for Atlanta, this is especially important playing in Chicago. The 2 wins, look at the numbers, 28 points in the first quarter per game, 57% shooting. The assists are up. So whichever team has really been the aggressor has gone on to win each game in this series.
Shot clock is down to 4. They trap Rose. Dang has to hurry, gets it off, and scores. What a start for Luol Deng. He has 7 points.
He's a guy who's not going to create a lot of his own shots off the dribble. Kind of a straight line driver. But when he can get on the move, then he can put himself in position to get a shot off. And that was a great play there with the shot clock winding down.
So all Chicago's points scored by Deng. Horford way outside. Rebound Boozer. Here's Deng on the run. Deng putting moves on as Smith got picked off, but Deng did not want to force it. Rose with a nice pass. Boozer not able to finish, and it's batted out of bounds. It'll be the Bulls in possession. You can see the lift is still a question mark with Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, and he's going against, you know, a pretty good shot blocker with Josh Smith, and Al Horford as well can come over and help.
Rose for 3. So Chicago off to the sparkling start. They are 4 of 7 from the field.
And when Derrick Rose made that 3, Marv, I looked over at the Atlanta bench, and the entire coaching staff kind of leaned back as if to say, oh boy, because when Rose makes 3s, he's impossible to guard. He knocks down his first one here tonight. That may be a bad omen for the Atlanta Hawks.
It's time for a phone to save us from our phones. Get the only phone with Office, Xbox Live, and thousands of apps. Get a Samsung Focus for $49.99 at AT&T.
The fountain of youth. What does it require?
A mermaid, Jack.
Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz, Ian McShane, and Jeffrey Rush. Pirates of the Caribbean. Rated PG-13.
You never told me Autotrader.com had new cars. I'd love a new 2011. These are sweet, but what kind of deal can I get? Okay, just special offers.
Now compare brand spanking new cars and special offers.
That one.
So you can find the one new car your head and heart can agree on.
Whoa.
Autotrader.com, now the ultimate new car marketplace.
That'll help? Thanks. Hi. Can you get my back?
Head to your local retailer for specialty marked packages of Corona and Corona Light. Find a custom-wrapped Corona bottle or can inside, and you could win the trip of a lifetime.
Is it hot in here? You guys sure you're all right? Everybody all right?
No, we're good, but how are you holding up?
Oh, it's been 2 years and I'm still sore. I mean, everyone out there took a beating. And if they're going to work every play, I got to work every play. What am I going to do? Cry? Go home? Take myself and go home? In Game 6? Forget it. I didn't think I was going to make it.
Going to triple overtime.
But, you know, I wouldn't take it back. Not a minute of it. Not any of it.
The 2011 NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by DirecTV. The best way to watch the NBA is on DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. By Mazda. Take a test drive at your Mazda dealer today. Zoom forever. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And Rockstar Games presents L.A. Noire in stores May 17th. Rated M for mature.
Welcome back to Chicago, where the Bulls have gotten off to an early start. I'm David Aldridge. We have talked all series long about how the Hawks coaches and players are imploring Josh Smith to operate in this paint and to stay away from the perimeter. He was asked yesterday if he hears the 19,000 Hawks fans screaming no every time he takes a jumper. He said he puts the fans on mute, although he said he was rejuvenated to contribute the way he did in the Game 4 victory. He made no promises that he wouldn't shoot in the future, though, Marv.
David, I don't think he'll hear the collective groan here in Chicago as Joe Johnson is able to knock it down.
You think they'll cheer?
Hawks able to score following that early timeout. Here is Dang on the run. This time way off, and Noah not able to hang on, and then slapped away, knocked out of bounds by Teague of the Hawks.
Well, that's been another theme in this series, Marv. When Chicago has out-rebounded Atlanta on the offensive boards, they've had great success. They had 18 offensive rebounds in that Game 3 blowout, and that's Joakim Noah's specialty.
Rose with the step, Rose to the bucket. Back tap, Dang is on it, and Dang scored.
And Noah kept it alive again.
Make it 9 points for Dang, 9 of the Bulls' 12.
A much sharper focus to start this game than we saw in Game 4 for the Bulls.
They double up on Johnson. Hogan's lost his footing. Horford is open. Foul is called, and that'll put Josh Smith at the line. Getting back to the start of Game 1, Joakim Noah saying that, you know, we started feeling good about ourselves. We have to come back with more of an edge in Game 5, and we're seeing that to this point.
Yeah, no question. And this is a team that has to play with an edge, Marv, because they're not overly talented. I mean, they're really good, and they execute, and they play well defensively together. But this is not a team that scores very easily. So when they're intent and locked in defensively, it just fuels the rest of their game.
The other night, Josh Smith hit only 8 of 22 from the field, but he scored 23 points, did not necessarily do it just by taking jump shots. Came up with 16 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 blocked shots. He now has 14 blocked shots over the first 4 games of the series.
He looked like Magic Johnson in transition, too, the way he would take the ball off the glass and then lead the break. And that's going to be a focus, too, for Chicago here, slowing down Atlanta's transition game.
Offensive foul. It is on Boozer as Smith went flying.
Now take a look. The illegal screen. Boozer slides in, just catches Smith with that knee. Good call from the officials. Josh Smith doing a good job going down. I mean, when you're the defender, when you're coming into that screen, you have to sell it. If you just run into the pick and you don't let the official know what just happened, you may not get that call.
Not easy to send a guy who's, what, 6'9", 235 flying.
Well, you got a little help.
Yeah. And a defensive 3-second violation. And Chicago head coach Tom Thibodeau has seen quite a few defensive threes. The Bulls now have been hit with 9 over the first 5 games.
And he was not real thrilled. And I watched the tape yesterday. I thought a couple of them were very questionable. The rule is you can't stand in the middle of the lane away from your offensive men. You have to have an arm's length from the guy you're guarding within 3 seconds. So anytime 3 seconds goes by, they'll call that. Otherwise, if a guy runs by, you have to what they call tag. You have to tag him, which means just get an arm's length next to him. That's what Chicago tries to do.
Steve Johnson lost it, but his last touch by the Bulls, it'll be Atlanta ball. Do you think they're calling defensive 3-second violations tighter in the postseason? Because the Bulls, a team that during the regular season will come close in that type situation. As Boozer fires it down, here comes Rose, puts a move on Teague, and he thought it was foul, forced it up. Smith with the crossover. Smith, what a move by Josh Smith.
How talented is he? I mean, 6'9", what'd you say, 240? And handling the ball coast to coast. and then a crossover move for a dunk. I mean, that's unreal.
Boozer trying to square up on Collins. Carlos Boozer facing the basket with Jason Collins defending, and the Bulls now lead it by 5.
Well, Mark, to go back to that defensive 3-second topic, I don't think they're looking for it anymore. I think Chicago, along with Boston, as Horford drops an easy lay-in, Chicago and Boston do it more than any team in the league.
Oh, nice play. They're pushing the ball so effectively. Rose, the finisher, and the Bulls lead at 16-9.
Well, Atlanta can't set up its defense, obviously, when the Bulls are in transition. Derrick Rose, probably the fastest player in the NBA, end-to-end.
Horford, he has the touch from the perimeter. Had a strong game the other night, able to bounce back, hit 9 of 11, 20 points, 5 rebounds.
And Larry Drew telling us before the game that Al was a little hesitant to shoot on that pick and pop the first 3-4 games. The fourth game, he did well for him.
Good look from Rose to find Boozer. Bulls up by 7.
I don't think we saw that at all in game 4. Half-court execution ending in a dunk for Chicago. Everything was a Rose drive, so a really nice job offensively for the Bulls.
Horford with Rose. In both instances, he was wide open.
And no hesitation, and that's the key for any shooter. And Horford, as he's shown, can hit that consistently. I think sometimes in the playoffs, guys get a little hesitant, maybe a little nervous. You got to let loose.
Here is Boozer. Coming up on 4.5 remaining. In this first quarter, we're at the United Center in Chicago. Series of moves by Smith, beautifully done. Well, Josh Smith, it appears, listening to his head coach Larry Drew, because we're seeing excellent moves and series of moves in the paint.
And this is why he's so maddening as a player to Hawks fans, because you think, man, you should be doing this every game as Deng draws a foul on Josh Smith. I mean, look at this ability here to back down a great defender in Deng, the pump fake, and then the up and under. Beautiful footwork for Smith, and he looks focused and locked in here again, game 5.
However, he just picked up a second foul. Deng was able to draw it, and Josh Smith headed to the bench, as is Jason Collins. Marvin Williams and Jamal Crawford will come on. 2 shots for Deng. Want to know how Derrick Rose performs when Joakim Noah is on the floor versus when he is not? Would you explain that?
Not really. I'm not really that interested in knowing that exact stat.
Again, you're killing this promotional announcement. You can dig into NBA stats like never before with NBA Stats Cube only on NBA.
Now, let me clarify.
I understood it.
There's a lot of other great stuff on there that I am interested in. That particular one, whatever. Am I going to get reprimanded?
By who? NBA Stats Cube will be in touch. Zaza Pachulia has also come on for the Hawks. Crawford backing his way. Shot clock to 3. Crawford with the shot. Good box out by Deng. Here comes Rose. Puts moves on Johnson. Gets by him and scores! Derrick Rose. So elusive. And then it went right at Joe Johnson.
And Marv, this is a dangerous lineup for Atlanta because it doesn't score well. Marvin Williams has struggled in this series. Pachulia a non-scorer. So if Johnson and Crawford miss shots, look for the Bulls to get out in transition.
Followed by Pachulia. That's his first field goal. The Bulls now lead at 22-17. Noah sets the screen. Rose accelerates. And we're seeing a different Derrick Rose here at the start of the game. Contrast to what took place in Atlanta on Sunday night.
He's attacking earlier against the pick and roll. I thought he was a little passive in game 4, and that allowed Atlanta's defense to load up on him.
Williams not able to hit Bogan's rebounds. Hawks get back. Rose met by Johnson. Bogans for 3. Yes. He Bogan's able to keep the opposition honest. He'll hit it. An occasional three, sometimes a couple of threes a game.
So important, though, for him to make one or two, just to soften that defense up and to allow him to stay on the floor because he's the Bulls' best defender at that 2 position.
And he is defending against Joe Johnson. Crawford with the step. Tough angle shot. And it's deflected out. Last touch by Atlanta.
Now, it's worth making the point again, Marv. With this lineup, Joe Johnson and Crawford have to make shots because when they don't, long rebounds lead to this. Transition for the best transition player in the NBA, Derrick Rose, taking it to the Hawks.
For all that's out there, Range Rover Sport.
Science, yeah. Lord, I've been dreaming about the paper. I want it all. I wanna shine. I wanna ball. Man, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Bruh. What's up, Dwight? What you got in the bag? Big Mac, fries. I'll play you for it. My lunch, first one to miss, watches the other one eat. No jump shot. Bet. Flat-footed, 540. 360 for the free throw line, Olympic-style landing.
Great show, guys, and thanks for lunch.
Who's that? I have no idea. He's taking our lunch, though.
Do you spend more time in your kitchen than any room in the house? With our kitchen remodeling experts, you'll have the kitchen you always dreamed of. New cabinets, new countertops, new fixtures, new flooring, no problem. Galaxy does it all. Call Galaxy today and get 40% off on your craft-made cabinets and a free granite countertop. Do great work, give a great deal. That's Galaxy.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
We'll watch the game with you.
Hey, feet off the table.
We're the classic dealer group, the friendliest place in town.
We brought you Camrys for the price of Corollas. Now we're offering Highlanders for the price of RAV4s. Camrys, $14,995. Or Highlanders, $19,995. Camrys for the price of Corollas. And now Highlanders for the price of RAV4s.
Only a classic Toyota in Waukegan, the friendliest place in town.
A new champion will be crowned this year, and guys are understanding that, and they know the dynamics of it, and they know how rare this moment is because, you never see the Lakers get put out this early, nor do you see the San Antonio Spurs, or you don't see, Boston being down 3-1. You never see things like that, so you have to understand how important and how rare this moment is, and that's what makes you want to seize the moment that much more.
Steve, this may be, as Josh Smith was alluding to, the most unusual postseason in the history of the NBA.
It's most unusual that I can ever remember. I mean, just, we've talked about it, more of kind of a changing of the guard type season. It's going to be fascinating from here on out.
Oh, Bogans again. He has shot close to 50% from beyond the three-point line in the playoffs. So Bogans with his second three. It's a 12-2 Chicago run. Offensive foul. The Hawks are called. Bogans able to take the hit. And the ball back to Chicago. Crawford picks up the foul.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, Marv. Chicago was 3 for 16 from the three-point line the other night. So Bogans comes out, makes two, flops there, and gets the call from the officials. But it's so important for him to be on the floor defensively, particularly in this series against guys like Crawford and Joe Johnson. And that really negates the need to play Culver as much as Bogans gets another shot. But if Bogans is hitting threes, you don't have to bring Culver in off the bench as often. And that's a better matchup defensively with Bogans on the floor.
Bogans has scored the last 8 points for the Bulls. Shot clock out of 6. Teague. He's played well throughout the playoffs. Getting the playing time due to the injury to the former Chicago Bull, Kirk Hinrich. Jeff Teague, second-year man out of Wake Forest, born and raised in Indianapolis. Rose sweeping in, trying to go high off glass. Teague with the rebound. Teague met by Rose. These two know each other very well from playing against each other. With Rose from Chicago and Teague from Indianapolis playing in the 8th grade as Crawford hits one of those Jamal Crawford rainbow jumpers.
Well, he's going to need to score tonight, as is Joe Johnson, because this Bulls defense is looking much more like the one we're accustomed to seeing. So I don't think Josh Smith and Horford are going to get all those points in the paint tonight.
Oh, the rejection by Horford as Rose attempted to go right at the 6'10" Horford.
And here's the block from Horford, and Rose wanted the call. He asked for some calls last game, didn't get them, but I thought that was a clean block, and Atlanta has done a really nice job of maintaining position in front of Rose at the rim the last couple of games.
8 on the shot clock, 15 seconds left in the first quarter, and a foul is called as Noah made his move. That's the 4th team foul on the Hawks.
It's fun watching Horford and Noah play against each other, Marv. Teammates at the University of Florida, and obviously played against each other in practice countless times, and they really know each other's games so well. And I think in both cases, the defense seems to have the edge. I mean, Noah's a defensive player anyway, but he really does a nice job on Horford and vice versa. I think they really struggle to score against each other.
And the coach Billy Donovan on hand in Atlanta the other night to check out his former players. Here's Rose with the quarter running down. Crawford rebounds. Time has run out. And a terrific start for the Bulls. They're on their feet here at the United Center. Bulls 13 of 23, 57% shooting the high point men. Luol Deng with 11, Derrick Rose with 9.
Yellow? Hey, no worries. Right. No. Oh, hold on. No, not you. No worries. No, no worries. No worries. I'm the boss. Yeah, I know. Me too. Oh, some guy. Right. No worries. Yeah, conference man. Hey! Nah, no worries.
Introducing HBO Go, the new streaming service from HBO, free with your subscription.
I got something that makes me want to shout.
A jump start without the jitters.
I got it. Watch me. I don't miss nothing.
The proven push, stamina in a bottle, the original Gatorade. And thirst-quenching protein that helps restore your body while cooling you down. Prime, perform, recover. The G-Series from Gatorade.
It's Red Lobster's Festival of Shrimp for just $11.99. Combine 2 of our most tempting shrimp selections any way you like. From favorites like crab stuffed shrimp to special new creations like barbecue glazed shrimp or potato crusted shrimp. Create your own combination with unlimited Cheddar Bay biscuits, all for just $11.99 during the Festival of Shrimp. Get more of the shrimp you love in more irresistible new ways. For a limited time at Red Lobster.
It's not the monkey and it's not the jerk. This is a dance that'll make you work. It's all a what? One more people.
Axe Shower Gel with new improved fragrances. The cleaner you are, the dirtier you get.
It works with people. It works with cars. The newly refined Acura TL. Aggression in its most elegant form.
Free hot breakfast.
with fresh waffles. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
Hi, he's Jared Franklin.
And he's Peter Bash. You might be asking, why are they shooting a law firm commercial here instead of some stuffy law office?
Hey, come here. Closer.
This is our office.
Come for a free consultation.
With a complimentary margarita.
We're not saying that if you come by, you'll meet girls like this.
Or guys like them.
Legally, we can't make that promise.
Although, we can't promise that you won't meet them either. Franklin and Bash.
We've got your back.
Franklin and Bash, accepting new clients June 1st on TNT.
Welcome back to Chicago. It's time for the Mazda Coach's Corner. I'm here with Larry Drew. Larry, you knew Derrick Rose was going to be more aggressive, but when Dang scores 11 and Bogans gets 8, that makes it even harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we came out a little flat, which I told our guys the most important thing was just that we controlled the tempo. They had a chance to get away from us. I still think we're in pretty good shape.
What is the thing that you want to see in the second quarter as you go to your smaller three-guard line?
I want to see more energy, and I want to see us in more of an attacking the basketball. And now we're just selling for jump shots.
Okay. Larry Drew played 11 years in the NBA first-round draft pick out of the University of Missouri. Then time of 4 teams is 5 years in L.A. with the Lakers and the Clippers. Originally a first-round pick of Detroit. That was back in 1980. Second quarter underway. And Pachulia is fouled by Omer Asik, who just checked in along with C.J. Watson and Ronnie Brewer. Taj Gibson also on the floor, so Tom Thibodeau making wholesale changes. Only Luol Deng remains from the starting lineup. Pachulia over Asik. 32-23 Bulls. They've led by as many as 15. A good start for Deng and Derrick Rose. Rose getting a rest. Watson with the shot. Rebounded by Williams. Derrick Rose 9 points, 4 assists in the first quarter. Crawford with a runner. Deng able to grab the rebound. It's a 3-on-2 for the Bulls. Deng for Gibson, and he's fouled. Foul committed by Teague. So Taj Gibson will go to the line. Taj Gibson hit all 3 of his shot attempts in game 4. He had 9 points. He had 4 blocked shots. A programming reminder, set the DVR. Conan's got Zach Braff. And you don't want to miss it. Conan all new tonight at 11, 10 Central, only on TBS. I think that Steve Kerr has had his most analytical comments the last couple of minutes. Oh, actually, I'm told we're having an audio problem.
Have you enjoyed the last couple of minutes?
I thought you were superb.
Some of my best stuff.
Not some, the best. You okay?
I can't hear anything, but okay. Other than that,
we hear
fine.
You are on the air. Williams, Marvin Williams able to knock it down. Our expert technical crew is on the case. Minute and a half gone by here in the second. Watson on the hop to Gibson. Won't count. Offensive foul on Gibson.
The crowd doesn't like it, Marv, because I think they felt like Gibson was inside the circle, but it doesn't matter because he's sliding. Well, he's outside. Yeah, he's outside, and the play started below the box, so he's okay anyway. But good play from Smith. They're drawing the charge.
Crawford lost the dribble off his foot. The Hawks in the midst of an 8-0 run. Chicago's lead is down to 7. A Chicago team that won 62 games during the regular season. Best record in the league. Did not have an easy time in the first round of the playoffs against the Pacers. Here is Deng. Although the Bulls did win it in 5, but Indiana hanging in, and then Atlanta winning game 2 of this series here in Chicago. He gets it back out to Pachulia. Raza not able to hit. Rebounded by Ashik. Watson able to drive by Teague. Met by Pachulia. And it's thrown away. And Tom Thibodeau gives that look as if to say, what are you doing? Josh Smith back on the floor playing with the 2 fouls. Smith backs his way on Gibson. Crawford. That's a 3-point attempt. Three minutes gone by in this second quarter. Here's Watson going high off glass. Harv Albert, Steve Kerr, David Aldridge. For friends and family of Steve Kerr, he is here. There are some audio problems.
No, actually, I went up and got a chili dog. But I'm ready to go.
You're back with us.
I'm back.
I had a couple of texts from the family.
And what they said, it was good. It was good commentary.
Pachulia able to stuff.
Marv, this is always a critical time for the Chicago offense when Derrick Rose goes to the bench. And they made wholesale changes here, bringing in 4 different subs to start this quarter. And Tom Thibodeau obviously doesn't like what he sees. But these are the moments where Chicago has to create offense through execution. They don't have Derrick Rose to rely on anymore. And if they don't get into their offense quickly, they can quickly lose their pace.
Whoa! I got a winner! I got it!
At 89 cents, everyone's a winner. The new cheesy double-decker taco. A crunchy taco and nacho cheese sauce all wrapped up. So it's like getting twice the taco. Only at Taco Bell. Why pay more?
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not from around here. Do you think maybe later we can...
No.
There's a better way to fight flakes. New Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Fights flakes for 48 hours, guaranteed.
New case. White female dumped the grass at the end of Hill Street.
Blunt force trauma. I doubt very much he was concerned with her dignity.
You give me something or I will break your jaw.
You have no idea the type of people that are involved, Phelps. You're gonna die for this.
I'm not lying. She got up and left. That was it.
L.A. Noire, coming May 17th. Rated M for mature.
Too much on your plate? No matter when you get around to booking, Hotels.com will have a great last-minute deal waiting for you. Like at the Hotels.com 48-hour sale this Tuesday and Wednesday only. Hotels.com. Be smart. Book smart.
We're talking hour, sometimes 2 hours.
Every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
About twice a week. Day or night.
I call my parents and my sister.
Have friends that live in Italy.
In Guadalajara.
United Kingdom. All over the world.
Call International Mobiles without getting gouged. Switch to World Premium Unlimited, a new plan from Vonage. Now unlimited calling to more mobile destinations than any other phone company.
When I switched to Vonage, I felt freedom.
With several unlimited plans, there's something for everyone.
It is a beautiful 72-degree night here in the Windy City. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for all-star handling inspires what they roll into yours. Tom Thibodeau not pleased with what he saw the last couple of minutes, taking that 20-second timeout. The NBA Coach of the Year in his first season as a head coach, spent the last 3 years as Doc Rivers' lead assistant. He was associate head coach with the Celtics. A defensive guru going back to his days as an assistant with the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks under Jeff Van Gundy.
Spent years working with Yao Ming on his game. Even would travel to China during the summers to work with Yao. They have a really strong relationship.
Travel is called. Kyle Korver coming on for the first time and hoping to turn it from what took place in Atlanta Sunday night. Only 1 of 8 and 0 for 5 from three-point land. Remember, in the Indiana series, Korver got off to that sizzling start from downtown.
And Marv, with Atlanta going away from Marvin Williams and to Jeff Teague, it's made the defensive matchups a lot more difficult for Korver. He's really suited to guard guys like Williams, as you see Teague go right around him.
Teague getting the step. He'll head to the line.
And trust me, I know all about that. My coach has always tried to find somebody for me to guard on the floor. You know, matchups are different every series. Every team you play in the playoffs, things go a little differently. And you see the numbers for Teague. Really amazing story. I mean, rarely played this season. Look at the numbers in the first round against Orlando. Only played 4 minutes a game. Kirk Hinrich gets hurt, and all of a sudden he's playing 41 minutes a game and producing big time.
Second year out of Wake Forest, was both a shooting guard and a point guard at Wake Forest. In the category of, you should know this about Jeff Teague, in the Hawks media guide, Steve, under the heading of personal tidbits, it says Jeff Teague is afraid of haunted houses. Now that's a tidbit I have never seen.
Well, when they go to Oklahoma City, I hope they don't stay at the Skirvin Hotel, which is,
you're yelling the hotel.
Well, for those of you who don't know the story, there is supposedly, whether it's true or not, I don't know.
What do you mean whether it's true?
I've heard accounts, Marv. There's supposedly a ghost in that hotel.
Here's picture.
I wonder if the Czar stayed there during the playoffs.
Giving the possibility that it's true.
Some people might want to stay there to experience it.
Meet new friends. I wonder, in Teague's case, was it a childhood incident? A bad dream?
We might need to talk to his mom about that one. Find out the real story. Boozer is bleeding. That's why we're getting the timeout here. And meanwhile, Marvin, the Hawks have really done a nice job of kind of weathering the storm. You know, this crowd was pumped up. The Bulls came out really blazing and took a big lead, 15-point lead. So for Atlanta to have weathered the storm, they're within 6. They've got the game slowed down a little bit now. I think they're in pretty decent shape. This is where he gets hit. He goes strong to the hole. And right there, Pachulia grabs him, probably scratched him a little bit.
And it is an unlikely source. Zaza Pachulia has been a major factor in leading the Hawks back. He's hit 4 of 5. He has 8 points there. Zaza out of the Soviet Republic of Georgia. Goes 6'11", 275 pounds.
I would have complimented him before, but I was up in the concessions getting my chili dog. But no, he's come in and done a really nice job. He got that offensive putback early on, and his aggressiveness has kind of kept his team in the game here.
Derrick Rose getting set to check back in along with Luol Deng. Took care of Boozer over at the Bulls bench, so ready to resume. Bulls now have 20 on the shot clock. Watson. And on a switch, the ball knocked away, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Atlanta. Now the subs are waved in. So Watson and Brewer will leave, and Deng and Rose back on the court.
And with the rest that Rose was given, Chicago lost 5 points in that exchange. And what the Bulls are really looking for, obviously, is just to stay, even where they were. Remember, in Game 3, the Bulls bench came in the second quarter and not only maintained the lead, but extended it and played extremely well. But that's not something they can count on a nightly basis.
Atlanta outscored Chicago 9-4. In those moments, Boozer right back with the stuff.
And Josh Smith really reluctant to challenge because he does have the 2 fouls.
Bulls up by 8. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Good job here by Dang. Crawford. High arcing shot. Back comes Chicago. Teague nearly picked it off. The recovery by Gibson. Teague is so quick.
Yeah, lightning fast. Looks like Boozer is bleeding again. And Steve Javie going over to talk to Tom Thibodeau. They're going to make him.
30-second official timeout.
I think they're going to make him get that checked again. And you hate to see that if you're a Chicago fan. He just got the dunk. He's feeling pretty good about his game. And here's that play. The pick and roll. Beautiful feed from Derrick Rose.
Joakim Noah checks back in for Chicago.
So Joakim Noah is back. Carlos Boozer needs a cut man.
Yeah.
But Noah is back, so they will resume as they do the repairs.
You know, anytime I see this, Marv, I think of the Steve Nash play in the playoffs against the Spurs about 5 years ago. At the critical juncture, he got a broken nose, and the Suns trainers did everything possible to get the bleeding stopped, and he had to come out for a couple of critical possessions. Yeah, that's you know, with that new blood rule. Remember in the old days, you could have blood pouring down your face, you could keep playing. But in the last 10, 15 years or so, the rule changed. So the onus is really on the trainers to clean things up quickly to get their man back out on the floor.
Horford is checked back in. Oh, he had no angle. Derrick Rose somehow able to find the space.
And I like what the Bulls have done tonight. We've heard Charles Barkley in the studio talking about Rose taking too many shots. Some of that is that the ball was constantly in his hands the other night. They've run some sets tonight where he was away from the ball and eventually got it. And it's a different look for this Atlanta defense now to guard.
Whoa, look out. Pachulia on the fake. Gibson went for it and a foul.
That was dangerous. You're glad to see everybody okay there.
Just under 6 remaining in this first half. Bulls have led by as many as 15. It's up to 10. Derrick Rose off to the good start. 11 points, 5 assists. We'll be back to the United Center in a moment.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
A little to the left.
That's amazing.
You know what else is amazing? How easy it is to save money on RV, camper, and trailer insurance with Geico. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Everyone's talking about the all-new 2012 Volvo S60. Auto Week called it a kick in the pants to drive. Car and Driver said it's the most fluid and poised Volvo ever. Automobile Magazine likened the interior to a Scandinavian masterpiece, but the fact that you'll pay nothing to repair or maintain your Volvo for the first 5 years is enough to leave you speechless. Now through June 30th, lease the S60 for $299 a month or get 0.9% APR for 36 months.
Okay, look at that. We're both eating chicken sandwiches.
Yeah?
Mine's Wendy's.
Fall in love with full-on flavor. Wendy's Flavor Dip Chicken is a whole chicken breast filet hand-dipped in tangy barbecue or bold buffalo. We don't skimp on flavor.
All hands on deck!
What fountain is the prize?
It has begun!
This is not the destination so much as the journey.
Fight to the bitter end!
Perfect.
I like being in a position where people look up to me. As NBA players, I think we have to embrace that role. One of my favorite things, to be able to go to school, see 6, 7, 8-year-old kids and tell them that, hey, look, staying in school is very important. Being educated is very important. And that's the kind of message we try to send out to these kids. I just love being able to see these kids smile and give a kid a hug and see how happy he is to see us. That means the world to me.
Carlos Boozer making his way back onto the floor. So they did stop the bleeding. Pachulia to the line for the Hawks, 75% shooter at the foul line during the season. Larry Drew saying that the other night in Atlanta felt the Hawks played like a desperate team. So we have to have that same attitude here tonight. Did not start well, but then came on when Tom Thibodeau went to his bench.
It was the best game I've seen them play all season, Marv, because they were focused, they were energetic, they defended Rose on that pick and roll, they got scoring in a balanced way, and they never stopped and held the ball as Noah misses that left-hand jump hook. And we talked about it throughout this series. They have a tendency to catch and hold and go one-on-one. I didn't see any of that in Game 4, and I think that was one of the critical parts of that victory for Atlanta.
Korver defending with help on Johnson. Nice look. Johnson to the cutting Horford.
And there's that difficulty with the matchup. You see Korver sliding over to Johnson. Now all of a sudden Chicago has to double team, and that opens everything up, and that's why you're going to see Keith Bogans now check back into the ballgame.
Rose lost the dribble off his foot, but recovered by Boozer. Here's Rose going cross-court. Good save by Dang, and he fires. Rebound comes to T.
That's tough to shoot a three when you've had to jump up like that and catch a ball. You're really out of rhythm offensively. So a very difficult shot for Dang there.
Smith lost it. Here's Rose. He turned Teager on and splits through, and he's fouled by Johnson.
Here's the play with Johnson. The double team coming over as the Bulls recognize that Korver is in some trouble. And that just exposes your defense. It's all about being able to guard your position in the NBA. When you can guard your man, then you don't have to help. You can stay solid. That 24-second shot clock winds down in a hurry.
The MVP hearing the chants from the crowd as he makes his first appearances at the line. Well, tomorrow on TNT, the 2011 playoffs will continue. Boston at Miami, Game 5, followed by Memphis at Oklahoma City in Game 5, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Celtics looking to stay alive. What do the Grizzlies and the Thunder do for an encore?
Oh, man. How about that?
Catch up on sleep today.
Yeah, exactly.
Just under 4.5 remaining in this first half. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, David Aldridge from Chicago. Johnson. Quiet start for Joe Johnson off a big game the other night. Rose looking for some room. Rose with the head fake and draws the foul. He was hit on the hand.
You see the difference in the game now for Chicago when they can match up defensively across the board without having to help. Bogans and Luol Deng, each of them capable of guarding Joe Johnson one-on-one. All of a sudden Johnson's forced into a tough shot and leads into kind of semi-penetration for Rose, kind of semi-transition, I should say. Look at the numbers from Game 4. And it just changes the entire game for Chicago.
Foul committed by Teague, his second. Eric now 2 of 4 at the line. He has 13 points, 5 assists. Crawford played by Rose. Horford out to set the pick. Horford, and that from straight away. He has had the touch in the first half. 4 for 7, 8 points.
Good adjustment from Larry Drew, recognizing nobody really has an advantage right now for Atlanta, so he goes to the pick and roll to get that Bulls offense or defense moving, and that frees up Horford.
Here's Rose, and he's fouled. He saw the opening, and then it closed quickly as he took the hit. So Derrick Rose back to the line.
Didn't go to the line for about 14 minutes, and I think that's, what, 3 straight possessions now where he's ended up drawing fouls. Going to the free throw line for his 5th and 6th attempts here.
Foul committed by Pachulia, his first. And you see points in the paint during the course of this series.
And what's amazing about that, I thought game 4 Atlanta did a better job than they have all series, and yet he still got 18 points in the paint. So it just shows you he's going to score in there regardless. But what you want to do is what Atlanta did in that game 4. Make it hard on him, make him shoot a lot to get his points, and just make every attempt a difficult one.
Hogan's close on Horford, not allowing the shot. Now Johnson to Crawford. Johnson straight away for 3. Smith for the rebound. They're going to reach and grab hold of it. They have a new shot clock. Horford, beautiful pass. Pachulia is fouled. Crowd reacts. They do not like the call. Foul on Noah, that is his second.
Gotta love the action from Atlanta. I mean, Joe Johnson gives the ball up. Horford immediately finds Pachulia because the Bulls defense is spread, and they are playing extremely well here, Marv. I mean, they're shooting 50%. They're staying with the Bulls on the boards. It's 14-13. Chicago at this point. Atlanta has played really well, but the Bulls have played even better.
Pachulia has been a major factor. That's 10 points in 13 minutes. This is game 5 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference semifinal series, all tied at 2. Game 6 back in Atlanta Thursday night. If there is a game 7 back here to Chicago Sunday night, and will be seen on TNT. 7-point lead for Chicago. Dang is fouled. Luol Deng try to spin his way along the baseline, and he will head to the line. Timeout, just under 3 to go. First half.
Conan.
Weeknights at
11 on CBS. One more time, Conan.
Weeknights at
11 on CBS. One more time, Conan.
Weeknights at
11 on CBS. As long as I get to watch, I'm cool.
Now people are saying that you think you colder than me. Nice little trick, but those were some important papers. I'm Ice Cube, and nothing's colder than the Ice Cube. Did you just snore on me?
Ice Cube is cold, but Coors Light is super cold.
I hope you got a mop in that bucket.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
The topic, gentlemen, is Fountain of Youth.
Kill him all! Fight to the bitter end!
Rated PG-13, May 20th.
Show!
Hi, Mom. Vitamin Water Revive. Somebody's been up all night. Up all night. Up all night. Hitting those books, weren't you?
Vitamin Water Revive, when you need to rehydrate.
It's time for a phone to save us from our phones. Get the only phone with Office, Xbox Live, and thousands of apps. Get a Samsung Focus for $49.99 at AT&T.
But they look like they're scoring a lot in the paint. Okay, we put together a string of a couple stops. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, as this game wears on, they'll get tighter and tighter. Let's keep this thing right in striking distance, but we gotta get more competitive down on this end.
You know, Marv, I'm so impressed with Larry Drew, getting to know him a little bit during this series. He's been here 7 years, and he has a great feel for this team. Spent the last 6 as an assistant, and now he's the head guy. The interesting dynamic with this club, very soft-spoken group of guys, and they don't have a vocal leader in the locker room. And anytime you have that dynamic as a coach, you yourself have to be the voice. You have to take on that leadership role. I saw it with Greg Popovich in San Antonio with Tim Duncan and David Robinson, both guys very quiet. And that's what Drew has done here, you know, with guys like Joe Johnson and Horford, very quiet-natured players. He's had to really take control of this team from a leadership standpoint.
Now, when you were here in Chicago, there's no question Michael Jordan was by far the guy that everybody would respond to. What about in San Antonio? You mentioned Duncan and Robinson were quiet. Was it the coach in that case? Greg Popovich?
Pop really took on that role because he knew he needed to, and I think that changed a little bit as the personnel changed. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili maybe a little bit more vocal than Robinson and Duncan, but I think every good coach recognizes, you know, that dynamic with a team right away and then adapts accordingly. The ideal thing is when you've got one guy who can really take control, one player who takes control, then you can sit back. You don't have to talk as much. I think every coach would like that.
And if handled right, it takes the responsibility away. And Smith comes up short in a good way from the head coach as Johnson rims out, and it's rebounded by Noah because the players will respect who that leader is.
That's right, and I think ideally you get a case like Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson where it's almost a tandem leadership where they take turns kind of coaching and admonishing, and it works perfectly. Then you don't want it to be the same person over and over again.
Bulls up 46-37. They've led by as many as 15 with 2 minutes remaining in this first half. 6 on the shot clock. Bang over Smith. Smith got a piece of it, and it's rebounded by Petrulio.
Hawks have done a nice job keeping Noah off the offensive boards. I mean, they've been destroyed by him during their 2 losses in this series.
Johnson with a post up, yes, and the foul. Joe Johnson will head to the line. The foul is on Rose, his first.
A little bit of a cross match here. Ideally, the Bulls would like Rose to be guarding Jamal Crawford. He ends up on Joe Johnson. And Johnson recognizing that mismatch. 6'7", about 240. Just a physical specimen and so skilled at the same time.
Steve, a year ago, Joe Johnson considering an offer from the Bulls, but made his decision to re-sign with Atlanta for $6 million, or rather for 6 years, $119 million. That's more than LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
I think I probably wouldn't have turned that down either, but can you imagine this Bulls team with Joe Johnson at the 2-guard spot?
Shot clock to 4. 3. Bogan from downtown, hit a couple earlier, scooped up by Johnson. And now they reset. Coming up on a minute left, first half. Crawford, Horford, nice pass. Smith inside, hits the reverse.
And the ball movement continues. This is what we saw in Game 4. No hesitation by any of these Hawks players to just move the ball onto the next guy. And it almost always results in a good look.
Just the fact that they regrouped, something you very rarely would see a Hawk team do. They would force a shot.
Yeah. And you know, particularly regrouping in the playoffs is so rare. I mean, this was not a very good team in the regular season. Marvin, here's that action we're talking about. Very unselfish. Just moving the ball on, no thinking, just playing. But you think about, Atlanta's struggles at the end of the year. What they lose 6 or 7 in a row at the end of the season. They lost 13 of their last 20. They didn't look like much of a threat. And usually in the playoffs, it's like the old Dennis Green line. You are what we thought you were.
Yes.
But they look different than what we thought they were.
Final seconds on the shot clock. Boozer is fouled by Pachulia. So Boozer will go to the line for the first time. This is the closest the Hawks have been in the second quarter. They've trimmed that lead down to 4.
And if they can finish this quarter out, down 4-6 at the worst, they've got to feel pretty good going in at the half, because you look at the Bulls' numbers. They've shot 51% from the floor, 50% from the three-point line. It is the Bulls' half for sure, and yet Atlanta staying right in it.
Jason Collins for Zaza Pachulia, 11 points in 15 minutes for Pachulia, 9 of the 11 coming here in the second quarter. The Bulls' last 7 points have come from the free throw line. Their last field goal was nearly 6 minutes ago. That's why Atlanta's very much back in it after trailing by as many as 15. It's now a 6-point game with a half minute remaining. Johnson off the dribble. Rebound, Noah. Rose looks to protect, met by Johnson.
Johnson was trying for the 2-for-1. That's why he went so quickly, but it really wasn't there. There wasn't enough time on the clock for him.
Not a second differential between the game clock and shot clock. As Rose going left. Picks it out, and it's too late. Made the extra pass, and that will not count. Tom Thibodeau upset with that last possession.
Yeah, Al Horford did a nice job of coming over to the strong side and loading up on Derrick Rose. I think Thibodeau wanted that 3-second defensive violation. And now I think there's still a fraction of a second left on the clock. Let's take a look. Now there's a 4/10 differential, but look at Horford just waiting for Rose, and then the length of Marvin Williams makes that pass too difficult for Rose to find Deng. But Marv, I think Thibodeau was upset because of all the 3-second defensive violations called on the Bulls. Looked like Horford was kind of packed in the lane there as well.
4/10 of a second placed back on the clock after the 24-second violation. So the Hawks will put it in play, but first a timeout is called by Larry Drew. And it can be a catch and shoot.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the officials are looking at this, Marv, because normally they have that differential between the shot clock and the game clock on their hip, with that monitor. And I guess what they're looking at is whether there was, I don't know how they're going to get 0.4 on there, because it looked like it was at 0.1 on the clock, unless I saw that wrong. And that's a huge difference, because as you said, 4/10, you can do the old Derek Fisher catch and actually make a move into a shot.
You could do it at 0.3, but not 0.2 or 0.1. It has to be a deflection or tip. And they've changed it to 0.3. It still can be if it is a quick release on the catch. You can do catch and shoot. So they took a 1/10 of the second off. The inbounds from the backcourt. This will be very difficult. Broken up by C.J. Watson. Halftime in Chicago in this Game 5 of the best of 7. The Bulls with a 48-42 lead on the Hawks. After a quick break, we'll take you to Ernie, Kenny, and Charles in Atlanta for the T-Mobile Halftime Report.